Hey everyone, welcome to Dave's Bonsai. On today's episode, it's the Taylor Eastern Redcedar. On one of my many trips to the nursery, when I found a lot of clearance section buys, I came across some cedars. And this is the Taylor Eastern Redcedar. Most of the research that I've done on the cedars, very rapid growing trees. I did grab two back when I found these because they were only 15 bucks in the discount section. Super cheap, super easy to play with. But I played with the first one too much. I think I killed it already. I trimmed it a little bit last year more. This one I took a few branches off but left it alone. The last one I experimented on and did a little pruning, and it's not looking so great. Now I want to get this into a pot, mainly because I want to see what the root structure is like. I want to know what this has been doing in this pot for the last couple of years, and then I can control everything from here. Once it's in a bonsai pot, I have much better control, I feel. So we're going to dig into this one, and we're going to see if we can get ourselves a red cedar started. So the next time you go to the nursery, make sure you bring a chopstick. Just have a chopstick in your car at all times. So when you stop at that nursery and you find a whole bunch of trees on sale and you go, oh, I should look at these. What you can do with the chopstick is you can dig down in the soil. Most of these nursery stock plants, we don't know where that true buttress of the tree is, the nibari, where the trunk meets the soil, and we oftentimes can dig down sometimes multiple inches before we see the actual flaring of the roots. And so this tree so far, the soil line was right here. I've gone down almost an inch, and as you can if you can see subtly on the camera, but you can see better face to face of course with the tree, this is actually flaring out a little bit, just a little bit, so it's a little bit thicker at the bottom, which is what we're always after, right? We want that to add to the age of our tree. We're looking for that wide bottom that gives the appearance that this tree has been in the ground a long time and it's got those sturdy roots keeping it securely in the ground. So we have that buttress, or that nibari, the Japanese word for where that tree meets the soil, and where we start to see those more surface roots. So while I continue to dig on this, I'm going to go around my yard, just my yard, not the park, but I'm going to go to my yard and I'm going to show you a couple of trees where you can see the buttress or the nibari of the tree. So take a quick peek at that, and if I can dig up any other pictures of some nibaris, I will show you that as well while I'm digging some more of this soil away. So the chopstick, a great tool for when you're working on your repots, but also a great tool when you're just going to the nursery. You can dig down, get past that soil line, and see if you can see the true buttress, the true nibari of the tree. So you can see what it's going to look like possibly in your bonsai pot. And so by going down here right now, since I started, again the soil line was right here. So I've got that inch down. It is a little bit wider at the bottom. I also discovered this little nub of a tree. This might have been a twin trunk at one point. This right here will come off. I don't think I'll need that feature. But we've got this thing all untangled here. We got a lot of roots. This thing is loaded with roots. So I'm gonna give my first initial cut back of this bottom 25% of the dangly roots. It's a very thick root base in the middle. But we're just getting those dangly ones for sure. We know we're gonna be cutting most of these long, leggy ones down. These Eastern Red Cedars, they do like it dry. You don't want to keep it dry for too long. Fairly drought tolerant, but you're going to want to probably water once a day during the summertime because it's going to dry out pretty good. At least where I live in Minnesota, we're getting plenty hot. So we've got one root right here that sticks out about a good inch. So we have to make sure we get that one out. That'll help it sit in the pot a little bit lower. I mean, a lot lower. Here we go. And we'll continue to tease away some of these roots. Get our really flat bottom so we can put this in our pot and be ready to go. Tis pot selection time. Yeah, no way. I think I knew that. My oval was my first choice when I went to look at my pot supply. I think that one's going to be the winner. But I want to check just in case. I think this one's just a little bit too big. I'd like if there's one in between, I would like it. But I think this is the one we're going to put it in. We're going to make it work. So we need some wire for our pot. These pots, these round oval pots, have these great big holes in the bottom for putting wire in, but then the soil can fit through there. So I go ahead and put a little bit of my blue sheetrock tape to make sure I can hold that in place. I have the wires in, and I have the blue tape in there, the sheetrock tape. So one important thing to remember when you put your wire in, and then see your tree again if it's going to be where you want it to be, and if the wire is going to secure the tree firm enough. What happens with this clump right here, I have a little bit of weakness on the sides. It's kind of shallow all the way around. I don't have a ton of space. So I am actually going to go crisscross when I secure this. Crisscross instead of just forward and back or left and right. The wire would fall right off and it wouldn't secure the tree. So for this particular pot, I have this wire going with this one's connected to here, this one's connected to there. We crisscross so we can have a tight hold on our tree. Now this is a twin trunk tree. I've been paying a lot of attention to trees out in nature, of course, over the last several years, and I'm amazed at how many cedars and white pine, red pine, Scots pine, all the pines. The blue, Colorado blue spruce in my very own yard looks like a great old big tree, but upon closer inspection, it's split into two at some point, and there's two apexes. It still looks conical. It looks like a Christmas tree from a distance, but it's got twin trunks. So I am no longer afraid of purchasing a tree that has twin trunks. We don't need this perfect Christmas tree, especially in the bonsai world. We're looking for asymmetry. I do have this this little nub here that I forgot to take off. There. That's down there at the bottom. Okay. So now I do have to take a few moments to see what's going to be the front of this tree, that side or this side. I'm taking my time to look up and down the tree to see where the line of the tree goes. This side right over here, I can actually see the trunk most of the way up. I have noticed that you have to be careful with these trees, because when you really start to work with these trees and bump a tree a lot, this isn't broken per se, but it is all of a sudden super lopsy, wobbly, and this one's probably coming off, which isn't a bad deal because it's right in front, so I'm not too worried about that. So if I take the path of your front right here, I can see more up the tree. This is really cluttered with all kinds of brush, so I'd have to do some trimming to follow the trunk line. But it might, in the end, be the better looking front, the way it's kind of curving in and grabbing our attention. I think at this point we're just going to wire it in, and either side should be pretty good. I do want the big thick trunk to be off to the left a little bit. We're going to go ahead and we're going to secure our tree. So it's got a little bit of a lean to this way, which I do not mind actually. It makes the trunk go this way, then it actually comes back up here, and this one wants to go straight. All right. So there's the repotted Eastern Redcedar. I'm going to try to leave a fair amount of foliage on this one to support sending lots of photosynthesis sugars and carbs up and down this trunk. But I will trim off some branches that I know for sure I don't want, don't need. And I think I will keep this as the leader, or the front rather. One of the early decisions I can make is up here. I've got a tree that's spreading out into, there's a branch right back in here. This guy. There's this big one here that could become the new leader. I wish this new leader was on this side though, because of the twin trunk look of the tree right now. There's all kinds of clutter in here with some dead branches, so I'm going to go ahead and cut all those out. This one's growing straight down. So this was taller here. I just cut it down to there's like 3 or 4 buds here. We're just going to see if I can get some depth in this one. Otherwise it'll be totally straight up without a branch. So I'll leave that for now. It could come off in future. This could become the new leader. It's kind of coming out at us, but it is growing more up. I will cut down to at least that one. Give it a new apex. So these two are competing right now. This one from that one. This smaller side also has a decent new apex right here. Got this real thick region over here that looks a little messy. Just going to thin some of this out. And again, I don't want to take off too much of this tree because the last one I had, of course, it was a different time of year. But I want to see what comes back and what has new growth. I see a lot of pine trees in the neighborhood that has this little bit of a weeping nature to it, like this one does. And so I don't mind some of the weepiness of it, but I want it to be out more on the outside weeping down, not so much in the center here. Just a little thinning out. When you spin the tree around, we have a little hollow section back here, so I want to be careful and leave some of that intact. Come back here. So we obviously need some growth to fill in here. Again, these branches are all dangling pretty good here. So we'll let these thicken up. Want this to grow out a little bit more. We get that true conical shape. Just trim these up here a little bit so they're not sticking out quite as far. So as I look at it from back here, I still see that top is kind of cluttered a little bit. And this can be pulled out here a little bit more. But it forms that Christmas tree look still. But I got these trunks to the side here. So here's where I just cut it. I got this big one that's coming up over here, which gives the trunk some movement. This one's coming right up at the camera here. Cut that one completely off probably at some point. But this could become the new apex. I can cut it down to here, but it has this weird, you know, more jetting to the right look, not as smooth flowing up. This one's more smooth flowing up, so I could get rid of this one. So then you have your trunk coming straight up. There's also some competition back here. It's cluttered because there's a fourth branch right there. This one in the back. You don't like that one. So there, that cleans up that top a little bit more. So now it looks like it's going from a twin trunk to a triple trunk because of up here. So we got to decide which one of those we're going to keep. And I don't think I'm going to make that decision today. I think I'm going to wait on that and see. I think we're going to make a few small little trims here and we're done. The tree's probably still just a tad tall, but we'll make those adjustments in round 2. There we have another spring repot done. We're getting close to the end. March Madness has leaked into April. Probably got another 5-6 trees to do, maybe less than a half a dozen. So we're making some good progress. This is the Taylor Eastern Redcedar. Twin trunk. We got this mess up here that I'm gonna work with next year. I'm just gonna wait. I am noticing throughout the tree as I clear it up a little bit, there's some nice back budding down as far as down here. And in some of these areas here, there's some back budding, so that's good sign for future back budding. We're going to let this thing take off this year and grow and see what it does. Thank you so much for watching. Another one done. I can't tell you how much I appreciate you taking a peek at the channel. Hit like if you liked it, subscribe if you have not, and there's more to come for sure. Take care of you, take care of your bonsai, and guess what? We'll see you very soon on another episode of Dave's Bonsai. Been a pleasure to do another show for you. We'll see you soon.